Are you ready to navigate the cosmic currents of the final quarter of 2024? This period is all about wrapping things up to make space for the new. And in this episode, we're diving into the major astrology that will influence your business in Q4, including the final few months of the South Node in Libra, Pluto's last stand in Capricorn, and a few other game-changing transits. I'm going to take you through key themes as well as a sign-by-sign breakdown for each rising sign. By the end of this episode, you'll have clarity on how these shifts could impact your business and what to focus on to finish the year strong. Welcome back to another forecast episode. I'm your host, Sophia Palace. I'm an online business strategist who works with the ancient power and wisdom of astrology to help you shortcut your way to success. Let's talk about the final quarter of 2024. So we are entering this last quarter of the year, and there is a lot of completion energy at play, especially with the solar eclipse in Libra that kicked off the final quarter of this year. That happened on October 3rd for those of us in Australia. And this was not your usual eclipse energy of new beginnings, a solar eclipse energy of new beginnings. Instead, there was a lot of releasing going on because it was a South Node eclipse. And I'm going to talk you through a bit more today about how this final eclipse in Libra signifies this shift of the nodes out of the Libra Aries or Aries Libra axis and into the Pisces Virgo axis that we're going to see next year. So we are seeing this completion of a cycle on the Aries Libra axis that's been playing out for us for more than a year now. At the same time, Pluto is finishing up its 16-year journey through Capricorn, and this quarter sees it pop back into Capricorn for one final stand. This is your final moment to reflect on the structures and the authority dynamics that have been playing out or have transformed since 2008 when Pluto first entered Capricorn. What have you torn down and rebuilt in your life and business since then? Where are you going to make that last push for meaningful change? Mars is also making moves. It's in Cancer at the moment. It's going to be going into Leo and then moving retrograde this quarter. It's going to give us the energy to shore up some foundations. But with that retrograde Mars in Leo coming in December, there's a real encouragement to slow down and reassess your creative direction. We're going to explore how all of this affects each of the 12 rising signs. But before we get into the details, I want to look at a couple of other key dates for you to watch out for. And that is the November 16th full moon in Taurus, which is conjunct the planet Uranus, the planet of change and disruption. That's November 16 for us in Australia. So it's going to be November 15 if you're in the US or other parts of the world. This full moon conjunct Uranus is really bringing breakthroughs in potentially your financial world, but it's particularly around resources, values, material things with that Taurus energy. And with that Uranus energy in the mix, so you want to stay adaptable and open to changes that can elevate your business. And I also want you to be thinking back to the Uranus-Jupiter conjunction that happened back in April of this year, April of 2024. What was going on for you at that time? Because this is a very close degree to where that happened. So there's some echo of what was going on there. I also want you to consider what intentions you set at the new moon in Taurus in May and how they might be coming to a head now, how they might be coming to some sort of a completion. And this might not be a final completion, but there is something completing here with regard to those intentions that you set in May at that new moon in Taurus for your business. I also want to remind you that we do have a Mercury retrograde coming up at the end of November. So it begins on November 26th for us in Australia. It's Mercury retrograde in Sagittarius. So this is going to invite us to really slow down, review our big picture business strategies with that Sagittarian energy. This is a really great time to adjust your big picture messaging. And particularly if you work maybe it's messaging around something that's going out broadly. Maybe it's messaging around your podcast. Maybe it's messaging around a book you want to write, or something that's going out in a big way for your business, like some perspective that you want to put out in the world that you've got to kind of hone, refine in some way. Consider that with that Mercury retrograde in Sagittarius. Okay, with that kind of overview out of the way, let's dive into the sign by sign forecasts. Just to be clear, I'm using the whole sign house system for this forecast. I use the Western tropical zodiac for all of the astrology that I do. And so keep that in mind if you're listening and you may use a different system. That's the system that I use. I do think it's more accurate if you listen for your rising sign rather than your sun sign, because the rising sign is how we set up the chart. So it's more an accurate representation of where the planets are in relationship with your natal chart. Okay, Aries Rising. This South Node solar eclipse hit your 7th house of business partnerships, contracts, relationships, collaborations, which means that there is a significant chapter closing out here. You're making space for something new. You're redefining things when it comes to your business partnerships and contracts. Maybe you have been working on releasing some sort of a business partnership or a partnership that's no longer serving your growth. It's time to let that go and make room for things that are more aligned with your long-term vision here. This is what the South Node, that South Node eclipse was signifying for you, and it is helping you to regenerate something in that part of your chart. You have a couple of months to let go of this stuff because the nodes are not shifting signs until January of 2025. So I really think this whole quarter for you and for all of us is really about releasing something that is happening in that 7th house for us. So consider that. What contracts, what business partnerships do you need to release or revise or redefine in some way? And I would take this one step further, and I'm going to give this for all 12 signs as well, a journaling prompt here. Like, really sit with yourself and maybe write down some thoughts around what partnerships or contracts are you ready to release? How can you create space for more harmonious collaborations in your business? Okay, let's talk about Pluto in Capricorn. So Pluto has just dipped back into your 10th house, which is your Capricorn house. It's making its last stand in your 10th house of career and public reputation. Now, Pluto is our planet of rebirth, transformation, power. It's quite an intense planet. It is a very slow moving planet. You are not going to have this energy back in your 10th house anytime while you're alive. It's a 250-year cycle. So now Pluto is making the end at the end of its 16-year journey through your 10th house. How have you changed the way that you present yourself publicly over the past 16 years? What structures have you torn down when it comes to your career, your reputation, your authority or authority figures around you, the structures of your business and your public reputation? What has been rebuilt here? This is what Pluto does. It's transformation, death, and rebirth. And it's particularly interested when it comes to our power. And I believe in the 10th house, it's also showing you your own personal power in business. And in any house, it's really showing us our personal power and how that has evolved over the last 16 years in the Capricorn house in our chart. So really think about that. Now it's time to make one final shift in how you show up as a leader, in how you show up in your business, and how you define success for yourself. So this is another thing that you could journal on or think more deeply about. How have your career goals, your business goals, your public reputation goals and aspirations changed or evolved since 2008? What final changes are necessary for you to step into your true power and leadership here? We're going to quickly talk about Mars in Cancer and Leo. This is in your 4th and 5th houses. Mars is activating your 4th house of home and foundations, the foundations of your business at the moment. This is in the sign of Cancer, and it's going to activate your 5th house of creativity, self-expression, advertising, which is a sign of Leo, in November. I do have a whole forecast episode on this, my Mars forecast, which I will link to from this episode. I encourage you to check that out for a deeper dive into this. It's a sign by sign breakdown as well. But basically, the Mars retrograde in Leo in November is really going to ask you to slow down, reflect on whether your actions are in alignment with your creative vision and your personal leadership. So there is something there to reflect on with that Mars retrograde from November. Then we have the Mercury retrograde in Sagittarius, which is happening in your 9th house. So this is going to hit your 9th house of broadcasting, publishing, and international markets or global markets. So it's a time to review your messaging and communication strategies, especially if you've been working on something related to teaching, publishing, or international business, global reach in some way. This retrograde is really a great time for you to fine tune the details on that and make sure that you have a really clear strategy and plan and communication plan for that area of your business. It's not a time to rush forward. A Mercury retrograde is a time to revise, reconsider, deconstruct even what's been going on there. The Taurus full moon that's in the middle of November. That is happening in your 2nd house of money and resources. So this is really critical for you as a time to look. What have you done when it comes to your financial security this year? What seeds have you planted that have come to fruition? What has changed when it comes to your resources? So I'm not just talking about money here. I'm also talking about how have you resourced yourself for more growth in this 2nd house area to allow you to bring in more income and resources as well. Like, this is about how you've shored yourself up a little bit when it comes to your business. This full moon is really going to shine the light. It's, the full moon brings the light to this area of your life or your business. It's going to show you how far you've come in terms of building your financial security. And you may be experiencing a bit of a breakthrough or a surprise around your finances at this time in mid-November. So really stay flexible here, open to opportunities, notice what's coming through because there could be something really exciting here for you. Okay, Taurus Rising. For Taurus Risings, the Libra eclipse, the recent solar eclipse in Libra, activated your 6th house of daily work, routines, health, but particularly when we're talking about business, this is about your systems and processes of work and potentially how you are doing your business activities day to day. So this is signaling that it's time to release some outdated work habits or work processes that aren't serving you anymore. Maybe it's also a time to reassess who's on your team, who's supporting you, and what you need to clear space for to move forward. Maybe there's a project, a service, or even a way of working that's no longer serving you and it's not aligned with your growth. That's what's falling away here while the South Node makes its final moves through your 6th house over the next couple of months. So you're going to clear space for this to allow you to bring more balance to your day-to-day business activities and life and make room for better opportunities there. So to journal on this, to think more deeply about this, write down what are some habits, routines, or services that you're ready to release to create more ease in your business. Maybe you do need to reconsider what services you are offering in order to make this work better for you. So sit with that, journal on that one. With Pluto in Capricorn moving through your 9th house or making its final stand in your 9th house, this is the house of beliefs, higher learning, expansion. It's also the house of publishing, broadcasting, and global markets. And so Pluto is asking you to close out a deep transformation that's been unfolding for you here since 2008. You may have evolved your perspective on some big picture goals, on some, also some really big beliefs that you have. It could be beliefs around what's possible for you in business. It could be beliefs around or philosophies around business, around getting your message out there, around what you're here to teach, what you're here to learn. Those things are also coming through with this energy. So you may have been really redefining what success looks like for you, what power looks like for you in this part of your life and business. So journal on how has your vision for growth and expanding yourself, shifted over the last 16 years? What has changed here? What are some limiting beliefs you might be needing to release finally about what's possible for you? Okay, with Mars in Cancer and Leo, this is happening in your third and fourth houses. And as I said, I'm not going to dive deep into the Mars transit because I have a whole other forecast episode, a sign by sign breakdown on Mars through Cancer and Leo. You can check that out for more detail. But Mars is activating your third house of communication at the moment, communication, networking, ideas, local environment. And it's going to be moving into your fourth house of foundations and, the home of your business, or your own personal home, but also the home and foundation of your business. So this is going to really help you get clear on your messaging as Mars moves through these two signs and help you understand where you need to work on some foundational stuff for your business. But remembering that our Mars retrograde is really going to invite you to slow down and reassess, again, in that Leo sense of how you express yourself, how you show up in your day-to-day work, in your day-to-day work environment, that is like your home. I dive into that more in the Mars episode, so check that out. Let's talk about the Mercury retrograde in Sagittarius. So Mercury is going retrograde in your 8th house. And this means that there is some focus, some reassessment, some revision required in your shared resources, investments, or in some sort of psychological transformations that you've been undergoing. So this is a great time to review financial commitments, financial arrangements, contracts, anything related to shared business investments. You want to slow down, make sure everything's in order before moving forward. If there is anything that you've been working through in terms of maybe how you approach those deeper conversations with clients, the psychological stuff that's going on, this is also a good time to reassess how you are doing that deeper level of communication with your clients. The full moon in Taurus, conjunct Uranus, is really going to highlight, again, your first house of identity and personal brand. And it's going to potentially bring some breakthroughs for you and how you show up in your business. So you might experience this sudden realization or shift in how you present yourself. And this is going to help you align more authentically with your audience. Whenever we have this Uranus activation, it brings more authenticity. It brings us more ability to kind of express our true selves. So consider that as that Taurus full moon activates your first house. And also look back on what seeds you planted at the Taurus new moon in May, and consider what was also going on around that time of the Jupiter-Uranus conjunction in April, and what maybe has come through for you since then. If you did set any intentions around that April-May time, what is now coming to some sort of completion? Gemini Rising. So Geminis, this South Node solar eclipse in Libra happened in your 5th house. So this was at the start of October, and this energy is playing out across this quarter, this final quarter of 2024. This solar eclipse activated your 5th house of creativity, passion projects, and self-expression. Things like advertising as well are in this house for our business chart. So this eclipse on the South Node has encouraged you and is continuing to encourage you to let go of creative endeavors or pursuits that no longer align with your true desires, with what you really want. So it could be time to release a project that's felt stagnant, or some sort of creative baby, like some creative progeny that's no longer working for you. It's time to release that over the next couple of months. And you also want to reevaluate how you're expressing yourself in your business and whether that's feeling creatively aligned for you. So a journaling prompt for you, Geminis, is write down what creative projects or expressions no longer align with who you are becoming. You're making space for something new here. How can you create space for new inspiration to come through? New ideas. Okay, Pluto in Capricorn. this is Pluto's last stand in Capricorn in your 8th house. So this planet has been transforming this house of shared resources, investments, and deeper psychological transformations since 2008. There's been a lot of activity there. So this final pass is asking you to wrap up any outstanding issues related to shared finances or investments. You might also be feeling a deeper shift when it comes to how you handle power dynamics in business, and it could relate to personal, collaborations as well, business partnerships or shared ventures. How do you handle those power dynamics? So a journaling prompt for you on this Pluto area is, how have your relationships with shared resources or power dynamics evolved over the past 16 years? Where are you ready to release some control so you can transform further here? With Mars in Cancer and Leo, this is moving through your 2nd and 3rd houses. So Mars is going to energize your 2nd house of money. It is currently doing that, and personal resources, while it's in Cancer. And this, and then it's going to move into your 3rd house of communication, marketing, when it moves into Leo. And it's a great idea to use this time to take some practical steps towards strengthening your financial foundations, but also to rework how you're communicating your value when Mars retrogrades through Leo in November and December. When Mars retrogrades through Leo in December. So watch the full Mars forecast for more detail on a sign-by-sign breakdown on how that may be affecting you. And I go into a lot more depth on that. But let's talk about the Mercury retrograde in Sagittarius for you, which is happening in your 7th house. So with Mercury retrograding through your 7th house of partnerships and contracts, this is a very important time for you to be reviewing any agreements or collaborations that you're involved in, and maybe to reconsider any contracts that you're about to sign. It's a great time to renegotiate terms or to revisit conversations with potential business partners if that's something that you have been working on this year. The Taurus full moon is happening in your 12th house, your hidden house. So it's really shining a light on your intuition, on rest, and behind the scenes work as well. So there could be some breakthroughs or clarity around some hidden projects you've been working on, whether these are related to business or whether they're more personal to you. Consider what's coming through, what insights are coming to you at this full moon in Taurus, and pay attention to anything that comes through, particularly in unexpected ways, because the moon is conjunct Uranus. Maybe it comes through a dream, maybe it comes through some intuitive insight. Consider that as well. Cancer rising. So the solar eclipse in Libra, which was on the south node, activated your 4th house. And so there is something here that's being released in your 4th house of home and foundation. And this is also to do with your business foundations and your work environment as well. So there's something here that needs to be released that's been weighing you down. And it could mean clearing out some dynamics, some potentially family dynamics, or letting go of some sort of a home environment that's no longer working for you. There's something in your home environment or in your work, in the foundation of your workplace that needs to be let go of or changed or, revised in some way. So that's what's kind of wrapping up for you over the next couple of months while the South Node moves through its final portion of Libra. So a journaling prompt for you with this is, what emotional baggage or patterns are you ready to let go of to feel more grounded in your business? Because this can have to do with some, deeper held emotional beliefs as well that we need to release. It's come from within us, right? It's the deepest part of our chart, the 4th house. So consider that, journal on that, see what's coming up for you as you work through that process. Pluto in Capricorn has been or is doing its final pass through your seventh house of partnerships. That's business and personal, but we're talking about business today. So there is something here for you around partnerships and contracts. This is the end of a long running transformation in how you approach business relationships. So over the last 16 years, you've likely experienced some power shifts in or learned some deep lessons around partnership. It's time to close a chapter on any of those lingering issues and make space for healthier, more balanced, like power balanced collaborations. So a journaling prompt here is, what lessons have you learned about business partnerships since 2008? Whether you were in business then or not, there was something here that you were learning about partnerships, collaborations, and contracts. How can you approach future partnerships, collaborations with more empowerment? Because Pluto is our planet of power, transformation, and power. And it wants you to learn a lesson here around your own personal power. With Mars in Cancer and Leo, this is happening in your first and second houses, and I have a full sign-by-sign breakdown in my Mars forecast episode. So go and check that out for more detail. But Mars is lining up your first house of identity and personal branding, and your second house of resources and money. So this is a great time to not only refine how you show up for your business as the face of your business, it's also a great time to clarify your financial goals and what you are doing with your money and resources. So when Mars goes retrograde in Leo, which is your second house, you're really going to reflect on whether the way that you're earning and spending money is aligned with your values and the way that you want to be creatively expressed as well. We've got a Mercury retrograde in Sagittarius, which is happening in your sixth house of daily work and routines. This is a great time to revisit or revise your workflows and review any business processes that need tweaking. This is the time to double check details and make sure that your daily operations are running as smoothly as possible before you move forward. So that's what you can use that Mercury retrograde time for. The Taurus Full Moon in November is really going to light up your 11th house of networks, community, and maybe bigger picture goals. So you might see some breakthroughs in how you engage with your wider community, with your wider audience, or how like a bigger project has come together. So this is a great time to reflect on your big vision and how your networks can support your growth, or how they have been supporting your growth over this year, particularly since around April or May, when you may have been working with the new moon energy in Taurus and also the Jupiter-Uranus conjunction in Taurus. Think about how this might be coming to kind of some sort of completion now. Okay, Leo risings. The South Node solar eclipse in Libra was activating your third house. So this is your house of communication, marketing, and learning. And this is really asking you, this South Node energy is really asking you to release any outdated ideas or ways of communicating that no longer resonate with your brand. And it's time to let go of marketing strategies that feel stale to make room for a more authentic voice. Like there is something here that you're releasing to do with the way that you're communicating or marketing your business. A journaling prompt for you is, what communication habits or marketing strategies are you ready to release to better align with your message? And I would particularly be looking at your email marketing habits or strategies here. Email marketing is really closely connected with that third house. So consider how that is evolving for you and what needs to change here so that you can make space for something better. With Pluto in Capricorn, this is Pluto's last stand in your sixth house of work, service, daily habits, and routines. So you've been going through a long process of transformation around how you approach your work and your daily business tasks and activities. You may have really had to confront some power dynamics in your work environment or completely overhaul some processes there. So now is the time to make this one last adjustment and solidify this new structure of how are you going to go forward in your work. A journaling prompt for you is, how have your daily routines and work habits transformed since 2008? What's been going on for you when it comes to your work? What final tweaks can you make to improve your efficiency and your well-being? Like, this has to do with your health and well-being as well. Is there something that really needs to shift here to allow you to be in a better day-to-day flow? With Mars in Cancer and Leo, this is moving through your 12th and first houses. So there's a real activation here around rest and behind the scenes work when it's in Cancer. And then it moves into your first house of identity and personal branding when it's in Leo. And this is a period of, really potentially stepping into the spotlight for you, Leo risings. So when Mars goes retrograde in your sign in December, this is a time for you to reflect on whether you're showing up with real authenticity and if your actions, Mars, match your true self. Have a look at my full Mars forecast for a breakdown on that energy. We also have Mercury retrograde in your 5th house. So Mercury retrograde in Sagittarius is activating your 5th house. And this is the house of creativity. It's the house of passion, fun, and these exciting projects. It can have to do with your advertising as well. So this is a really good time to revisit or revise some creative endeavors, like what's going on for you when it comes to your creative or artistic pursuits. Even if you've been working on some sort of a passion project in your business or a marketing campaign, this retrograde is really inviting you to perfect the details as much as possible, to really refine and revise the details before you go ahead and launch that thing into the world. Like, it's a time to stop and reflect on, is this really reflecting what I want it to? Is this really showing what I want? Is this really right to be putting out there in the world? Is this communicating this effectively? Then we have the Taurus full moon, and this is happening in your 10th house. So this full moon in Taurus is really bringing a breakthrough in your 10th house of career and public reputation. So there may be something culminating or completing here when it comes to the efforts you've been putting into your career, your business, your public image over the past 6 months, particularly since that new moon in Taurus in May and around that April time when we had the Jupiter-Uranus conjunction. Like, there's something echoing here. So stay open to some surprises, because Uranus, the influence of Uranus, could bring some unexpected opportunities or changes when it comes to your business or your public reputation. Okay, Virgo rising. So with the South Node solar eclipse that's happened in your 2nd house, this has really activated the area of your life and business that is all about money and resources and self-worth. So it's signaling that it is time for you to let go of any limiting beliefs or outdated financial structures, outdated ways of earning or spending money. Maybe you've been holding on to some old ideas about your worth or your income potential. This activation of the South Node on your 2nd house is your opportunity to release those and open up to new ways of earning income and creating abundance in your business. So a journaling prompt for you, Virgo rising, is, what financial or self-worth blocks are you ready to release? And how can you align your resources and your earning potential with your true value? Okay, with Pluto in Capricorn, this is the last stand of Pluto in your 5th house of creativity, of passion projects, of potentially advertising and marketing as well. So this is the end of a transformative cycle that has reshaped how you express yourself in your business. And you may have gone through some deep creative shifts over this time with Pluto in Capricorn for the past 16 years. Maybe there were some big changes around how you express yourself or in how you do your advertising, around how you feel able to show up and shine in some way. It's also about how you are getting your inspiration, your playfulness, and your creativity. So it's time to close this chapter and step into a more empowered way of leading with your talents. Like, how are you using your talents going forward? What is Pluto's last stand in Capricorn showing you about your talents, about your creativity, about the way that you gain inspiration and the way that you express yourself? A journaling prompt for you with this Pluto and Capricorn energy is, how has your creative expression evolved since 2008? What final shifts can you make to get more authentically aligned with your passions, with your creativity, with your inspiration? Okay, Mars in Cancer and Leo is moving through your 11th and your 12th houses. So this is activating your house of networks and long-term goals in Cancer, and then it's shifting into your 12th house of rest, behind the scenes work in Leo. So you may feel that you're driven to build these stronger communities or connections, but when Mars retrogrades in December, it's time to take a step back and rest and reflect on that behind the scenes work that you've been doing or that you need to do in order to move things forward again in 2025. As I've said, I have a forecast, like a more complete forecast on this Mars transit for you, which I've linked to in the description box of this episode, so go and check that out. Mercury retrograde in Sagittarius for you is happening in your 4th house, which is your house of home, foundation, and your place of work, the core of your work environment, I should say. And it's also to do with some emotional foundations. It's the core of your chart. With Mercury retrograding through this part of your chart, this is the time to revisit anything that's related to, emotional issues, family issues. It's also potentially a time to consider how your emotional state impacts your business decisions, how you communicate in your work environment, in your workplace, because it is Mercury, it is about communication. And it's a great time to ensure that your foundations, your communication foundations and your workplace feels secure. What do you need in order to communicate more effectively with the people that you work with in that kind of workplace environment? Is there anything in the foundation of your business that needs to be revised, reconsidered, that kind of thing? The Taurus Full Moon is happening in your 9th house. So this is the house of broadcasting, publishing, higher learning, and expansion in general. So this could bring breakthroughs in terms of your long-term visions, especially when it comes to things that relate to teaching, learning, broadcasting, publishing. So stay flexible here, because this full moon has some unexpected energy attached to it with that Uranus next to the moon. So some unexpected opportunities could come through that are going to expand your horizons. And maybe you are finding that there's some completion happening around things that you started, projects or ideas that you seeded back in April and May of 2024. Okay, Libra Rising. So for you, the South Node has been hanging out in your 1st house, and this eclipse that we just had at the start of October really illuminated that, really kind of activated your 1st house of identity and personal branding. This is calling you to release any outdated versions of yourself and your personal brand. This is a big moment of personal transformation, and it's asking you to let go of an identity that no longer serves you or your business. This is time to step into a more authentic expression and really kind of allow who you are to come to the fore. You are letting go of those old versions of yourself to allow for this new and evolved version of you to come forward. So a journaling prompt for you, Libra Rising, is, what parts of your personal identity or branding are you ready to release? And how can you align more fully with your true self as this South Node moves through the final part of Libra and on into Virgo in 2025? With Pluto in Capricorn, this energy is wrapping up a cycle in your 4th house of home, foundations, family of origin, but also your work environment, your home base when it comes to your work and your business. So this is asking you to close out some sort of transformation that's been going on in how you approach potentially things like your emotional security and your sense of stability in business. So you've likely experienced some big shifts when it comes to your home life or your internal foundations and the foundations of your business, or the way that you work since 2008. And it's now time to let go of anything that no longer supports your emotional well-being and, the security and comfort of your home base or your place of operations. In business astrology, the fourth house is the base of operations, right? So think about that. And if you want to understand more about the fourth house, you can check out my episode on the 12 houses of the business astrology chart, which I'll also link to from this episode. So you can also try a journaling prompt here around ask yourself, how has your emotional foundation and that sense of security in your base of operations transformed since 2008? What final adjustments can you make here to feel more secure and more supported? And with Mars in Cancer and Leo, this Mars is moving through your 10th and 11th houses. So Mars is activating your 10th house of career and public reputation right now while it's in Cancer. And it's giving you the energy to push forward in your professional life. As it moves into Leo and your 11th house of long-term goals, like networks, communities, and long-term goals, you're going to be inspired to connect more with the community and your bigger networks. But when Mars goes retrograde in December, you're going to want to reflect on whether your actions are aligned with your long-term vision. And you can watch my full horoscope on this Mars transit. I will link to that episode in the show notes. Mercury will be retrograde in your third house. So Mercury retrograde in Sagittarius is really impacting your communication and marketing in your business. So this is a really important time for you to review your messaging, for you to review things like your email marketing, and to really take a step back to refine your content, especially if you're preparing a new marketing plan or you're getting ready to launch something. Like, really check in with that messaging and make sure it is correct. Mercury in Sagittarius can be a little blunt. So be checking for that kind of like, am I being a little bit too blunt or a little bit too harsh with my message? Do I need to take a slightly different approach with this? Like, be on the lookout for that kind of more fiery expression of Mercury. The Taurus Full Moon is happening in your 8th house. So this could bring some breakthroughs when it comes to your shared resources, investments, and general transformation, like psychological transformation themes here. So this could be a pivotal moment for financial agreements, business investments. It could be a great time where there is some sudden shifts or opportunities to manage shared resources more effectively, or there could be some sort of breakthrough when it comes to a psychological block you've been working through, that kind of thing, because this is the house of both shared resources in terms of money and finances, but also our emotional and psychological processing. So there could be some sort of breakthrough there because of that connection with the planet Uranus, the disruptor. And think back to April and May and consider whether there was something that you were seeding there around finances or around some sort of psychological breakthrough that you were hoping to happen that is now coming to some sort of completion in November. For Scorpio Rising, the South Node solar eclipse in Libra, which happened at the start of this quarter in October, really activated your 12th house of rest, retreat, and internal or behind the scenes processes. So this is really signaling to you that there is a need to release some subconscious fears or hidden patterns that have been holding you back. And this recent eclipse asked you to let go of what's been going on behind the scenes, or release some behind the scenes stuff so that you can make room for more clarity. So that's what this South Node through your 12th house is really helping you to find. And a journaling prompt for you could be, what hidden fears or subconscious patterns are you ready to release? How can you create more space for rest and reflection in your business as well? These are questions that you may want to explore through journaling. With Pluto in Capricorn making its final stand in your 3rd house of communication, marketing, and learning, this is wrapping up a long cycle of transformation in how you express your ideas. So you may have gone through some deep shifts in how you communicate with clients, with potentially people on your email list, or the way that you communicate in your business, and the way that you approach learning in your business as well. So it's time now to make a final adjustment and speak your truth more powerfully when it comes to how you're communicating and how you're learning in your business. So a journaling prompt for this kind of completion energy is: how has your communication style transformed since 2008? What final shift can you make to align your voice with your true power? Because remembering, Pluto is our planet of transformation and power, and especially encouraging us to connect with our own personal power. With Mars in Cancer and Leo, this transit is happening through your 9th and 10th houses this quarter. Mars is energizing your 9th house of travel, of education, of publishing, of global markets, before it moves into your 10th house of career, which is the Leo house in your chart. So this is your chance to expand on your business vision and take potentially bold steps when it comes to getting your work out there in the world in a kind of an expanded way. But when Mars retrogrades in December, it's time to really reflect on whether your leadership style in your business is aligned with your values. Are you expressing yourself as a leader in a way that's aligned with your values? And I have an extended Mars forecast episode that you can check out for more detail on that. Mercury will retrograde in Sagittarius in your 2nd house. So this is important because this Mercury retrograde is activating your house of money and resources. So how you're earning and spending your money and your talents potentially. So make sure that you are double checking your finances, your financial decisions, clarifying your income streams, checking those transactions, making sure that the money coming in and going out is correct, and that you're recording the money coming in and going out, and just double checking that everything is as it should be. That's what this Mercury retrograde is allowing you to do. The Taurus full moon that's happening in November is happening in your 7th house of partnerships, contracts, and collaborations. So this is really highlighting some potential breakthroughs for you or shifts in relationship dynamics. So you may experience some sort of culmination in a business partnership, or an unexpected opportunity might come through that helps you realign some relationships in business, some partnerships or some contracts. And remembering that this full moon in Taurus is right next to Uranus, so there can be some surprising things that come through, but it's directing us back to what we were seeding or setting intentions for at the new moon in Taurus in May, and also at the Jupiter-Uranus conjunction in April. So have a think about what you might have been seeding or really planning for around that April-May time, and what is sort of starting to come to completion now. Okay, Sagittarius Rising. The South Node eclipse in Libra activated your 11th house, and this is your house of networks, of community, and your big picture goals. So it's been asking you, this South Node in your 11th, over the past year or so, and continuing until January of 2025, is asking you to release connections, networks, and communities that no longer align with your vision. So this is a time to let go of group projects that feel stagnant, make space for some more aligned, connections, networks, that kind of thing. It's also time to recheck in with those big picture goals. And are they still what you really want? The South Node here is kind of saying, do you need to release some stuff to access something even better? Consider what might be going on there. And a journaling prompt for you is, what community or network connections are you ready to release? How can you align your long-term goals with your true desires? With Pluto in Capricorn, this is moving through your 2nd house. So this last pass through your 2nd house of resources and money and worth. This is the end of a long cycle of transformation here, and how you handle finances or handle your income and value yourself. So you've likely already undergone these significant shifts in how you earn and spend money, financial structures, personal financial structures that you've created since 2008. And it's time to close out this chapter with some more empowerment around money. How have you empowered yourself around money over the past 16 years. So, a journaling prompt for this energy is, how have your financial habits or beliefs transformed since 2008? What are some final changes that you need to make to align your finances with your values? With Mars in Cancer and Leo this quarter, this is moving through your 8th and 9th houses. So Mars is going to be activating your 8th house of shared resources and psychological transformation in Cancer before moving into your 9th house of expansion, higher learning, broadcasting, and publishing. So with Mars going retrograde in December, you're going to need to take the time to review how you are growing, how you are expanding and in your business, and what adjustments you might need to make before moving forward. I have a extended Mars forecast episode for you to check out for more detail on that. Mercury is going to be retrograde in your first house, Sagittarius. So this is important because it's all about reviewing your personal brand and your identity. So this is a great time to revisit how you present yourself, review any personal branding strategies, review your messaging, your positioning, and make sure that it really reflects who you are and want to be known as. The Taurus Full Moon is happening in your 6th house. So this is really shining a light on your work routines, your daily habits, and even things like your well-being and health. So you want to be on the lookout for clarity and breakthroughs in how you manage your day-to-day activities and your routines. It's a great time to reflect on your daily operations and make any adjustments for a more balanced approach, for an approach that's going to feel good to you. And with that Taurus full moon conjunct Uranus, the disruptor, there may be something unexpected that's thrown in the mix here. And you may have been thinking about this at the new moon in Taurus in May, some change to your routines or daily habits that is now coming to some sort of a completion. Capricorn Rising. So the South Node solar eclipse in Libra was activating your 10th house. The South Node has been activating your 10th house for some time. And this solar eclipse is really asking you to release old ambitions and career goals that no longer align with your path, because this is the house of career, public reputation. So it's time to let go of any outdated professional structures or roles that don't really reflect who you are or who you're becoming. Things that are out of alignment with who you are. So a journaling prompt for you is, what outdated positions or career goals or ambitions are you ready to let go of? Are you ready to release? And how can you align your public life with your true self and potentially your true calling? With Pluto in Capricorn, this is also really significant for you because it's been happening in your first house of identity and personal brand self-expression. So this is the end of a long cycle of very personal transformation for you. Since 2008, you've been asked to deeply transform how you show up in the world and embrace your personal power. So it is time to make one final shift in how you express your true self. And a journaling prompt for this completion energy is, how has your identity and self-expression transformed since 2008? And what final adjustments can you make to show up more authentically? With Mars in Cancer and Leo, this is moving through your 7th and 8th houses. So this is energizing that house of partnerships and contracts before moving into your 8th house of shared resources and transformation. This is a great time to collaborate, to build deeper business partnerships. But when Mars retrogrades in December, you're going to want to take the time to really review your partnerships and make sure that they are balanced. Any shared resources that you have as well is going to be important to reflect on and understand if your energy is directed in the right place. And I have an extended episode on Mars through Cancer and Leo for you to check out as well. Mercury retrograde will happen in your 12th house. So Mercury retrograde in Sagittarius is happening in your 12th house of rest, behind the scenes, and internal work. So this is a great time for you to slow down and reflect on your behind the scenes work, on your inner processes. It's time to review any subconscious patterns that might be holding you back from really kind of getting things done in your business and moving the needle in your business. The Taurus full moon is going to be activating your fifth house. It's going to be shining a light in your fifth house of creativity and passion projects and potentially advertising as well. So you're going to be on the lookout for breakthroughs in your creative endeavors. What is coming through here? This is an excellent time to reflect on how your passions are really aligned with your business and make adjustments if needed. You're going to want to look out for some unexpected things here too, because the full moon is right next to Uranus, the disruptor, the change maker. So it might be something unexpected that comes through that's really pushing you in a new direction creatively, or it's something that you seeded back in April, May, around this part of your chart, around your house of creativity and passion projects and advertising, that is coming to some sort of completion now. Aquarius Rising. This quarter for you has kicked off with the South Node solar eclipse in Libra, and that happened in your ninth house. So the South Node in your ninth house has been really illuminating for you travel, higher learning, publishing, broadcasting, global markets. And it's asking you to release anything outdated, especially outdated beliefs around this part of your life and business. So what old mindsets or what old educational pursuits or what old ways of learning and publishing and even potentially traveling no longer align with the way you want to go in your life and business. So there's a journaling prompt for you, which is, what beliefs or long-term goals are you ready to release? This South Node is asking you to release particularly some belief systems. So what beliefs or long-term goals are you ready to release? Maybe you are also releasing something in a broader sense. Maybe there's something going out into the world, publishing something, you're letting it go, letting it do its thing out in the world. Just notice if that's coming up for you. Have you had to release something into the world? And how can you expand from this point? How are you going to expand your vision for the future? With Pluto and Capricorn moving through your 12th house and doing its final stand in your 12th house, this is an opportunity for you to recognize where you have transformed your approach to rest and hidden processes and behind the scenes stuff. So you are wrapping up this long cycle of internal transformation. Since 2008, you've likely experienced some deep shifts in how you handle subconscious patterns or behind the scenes work. And maybe you've done a lot of healing work as well. It's time to make this final release and embrace some new internal structures that may support your growth and empower you as you move forward with Pluto in your first house. So the journaling prompt for you here is, how have your internal processes transformed since 2008? What have you been working on here? What has been going on behind the scenes in those kind of hidden realms? And what final release can you make to get more aligned and to get more empowered going forward? Remembering Pluto is our planet of transformation and power. With Mars in Cancer and Leo, this is activating your 6th and 7th houses. So Mars in your 6th house of work, daily work and routines, that's happening now while it's in Cancer before it shifts into your 7th house of partnerships in Leo. So this is a really good time to find your work habits, your daily activities, and get prepared for some collaborations to come through when Mars moves into Leo. But during Mars retrograde in December, you'll be needing to reflect on how you engage with business partners or other partners in your life, and if those relationships are supporting your growth. And I have an extended Mars forecast for you to watch if you want to dive deeper. Mercury will also be retrograde in your 11th house of networks, communities, and big picture goals. So this is a great time to revisit collaborations or review those bigger picture goals and really reflect on how your community connections, your networks are aligning with your big picture vision, and reflect on how you are communicating in those bigger networks as well. The Taurus full moon is lining up your 4th house of home and foundation and business foundation, base of operations. So you may be on the lookout for some breakthroughs or shifts in this foundational aspect of your home and business. So it's a great time to reflect on how your environment supports your business and make any necessary adjustments. There may be some breakthroughs around how your home environment can be more supportive of your business. And perhaps you set an intention in April or May around getting more support in your home environment as well for your business. And this now is having some sort of completion moment. Okay, finally, Pisces rising. So the South Node solar eclipse in Libra is activating your 8th house. And this South Node through your 8th house over the past year or so has been asking you to release any old financial ties or power dynamics that no longer align with your growth. It's been happening in your house of shared resources, investments, and psychological transformation. So there is something here for you to learn around letting go of business, investments, or shared resources that feel heavy or out of alignment. This is what to look out for here, and this is what to work through over the next couple of months. A journaling prompt for you here is, what financial ties or power dynamics are you ready to release? And how can you create more balance in your shared resources? And potentially, how can you access more or deeper levels of psychological transformation in your work and in your collaborations as well? With Pluto in Capricorn, this energy has been moving through your 11th house of networks and community. So this has been a long-running cycle of transformation in your house of social connections and long-term goals. So since 2008, you've likely seen some big shifts in how you engage in communities or collaborate in business and in bigger networks. So it's time to make a final shift in how you approach networking and align more fully with your true vision. A journaling prompt for you with this Capricorn energy, Pluto energy, is, how have your long-term goals or networks transformed since 2008? And what final adjustments can you make to align these with your vision? Mars in Cancer and Leo. This is energy. Mars is moving through your 5th and 6th houses. So it's energizing your house of creativity and passion projects in Cancer before moving into your 6th house of work, day-to-day work and routines in Leo. So this is a time to really express your creativity and, also refine the actions you're taking in your day-to-day work activities. But when Mars retrogrades in December, you're really going to get an opportunity to refine your work routines and ensure they align with your creative vision and how you want to be expressing yourself. And if you want to dive deeper into this, I do have an extended Mars forecast that you can check out as well. Mercury retrograde in Sagittarius. This is happening in your 10th house. So this is significant for you because this is your 10th house is your career and public reputation house. So when you've got Mercury retrograde here, this is a great time to review your goals, your professional goals, and your public image. You might want to revisit old projects or old communications that need refining and make sure that they are aligned with how you want your business to be seen and your vision and your mission for your business. The Taurus Full Moon is lighting up your 3rd house of communication, learning, and marketing. So this could bring some breakthroughs in your messaging and your marketing strategies. And it's a great time to review how you communicate with your audience and make some necessary adjustments here, because when you get that breakthrough, which is because it's associated with Uranus, this full moon is connected with Uranus, there may be something unexpected that comes through around your messaging or your marketing. And this is an opportunity now to be like, okay, that is coming to some sort of completion. How can I adjust and refine as I move forward? All right. This final quarter of 2024 is such a powerful time to reflect on the cycles that are closing out in your business and your life. So whether that's letting go of old partnerships, refining your approach to leadership, or preparing yourself for what's to come, the astrology of this period is all about transformation and realignment, and also a bit of surrender to the process. This is your chance to make some final adjustments and really set the stage for a more aligned and a more successful 2025. If you're ready to align your business strategy with the cosmic energy ahead, now is actually the perfect time to book in a business astrology strategy session with me. And this is a one-on-one session that's designed to allow us to dive deep into your astrology chart and uncover the best timing for your launches, for specific business activities, and also times of rest and reflection as well, so that you can set yourself up for success in 2025. You can find the link to book in a session with me in the description box below or the show notes if you are listening to the podcast version. So let's dive in and unlock the power of your chart to make 2025 your best year yet. And if you found this episode helpful, don't forget to subscribe, hit the notification bell, and drop a comment to let me know if these transits and how these transits are showing up for you. Check out my Mars forecast. I've mentioned it several times during the sign by sign breakdown. The Mars forecast is going to dive deeper into what this lengthy transit of Mars through Cancer and Leo and the retrograde period may mean for you and your business.